Watch WOW Women of Wrestling tonight at 10 on the CW Twin Cities.
The following is a presentation of CW Sports.
John Mateers, the Cougs, QB1. We will see his season debut in just minutes. Welcome to the CW Pre-Kick Show, brought to you by Dick's, who believes sports has the power to change lives. It's Portland State and Washington State right here on the CW. And welcome to your new home for college football, on with a 9-year NFL vet and a Washington State legend. Eric Coleman, Mike Yam with you. We've been waiting months to finally get to week number 1. All these guys have been practicing, hitting all their teammates. They now get to go and hit someone else.
Yeah, it's been crimson versus gray since the offseason started. Now it's time to unite, and now it's crimson and gray versus the world. Time to hit somebody else.
Yeah, unsettling times from a Washington State perspective the last couple months, but here's what I do know. When you got a leader like Jake Dickert, who's got some consistency in this program, entering season number 3, you're probably going to be in good shape, but tell me a reasonable expectation for the Cougs.
I don't see why the Cougs can't win 9 or 10 games this season. Jake Dickert, they have the consistency in that coaching staff, some of the veterans coming back, and the favorable schedule. As long as they get John Mateer off to a quick start, it's going to be a great season for the Cougs.
Yeah, and I know you have familiarity with both of these programs. So is there some familiar faces out that'll bring a smile to your face?
Oh, yeah. You know, obviously, Jake Dickert out here talking with Bryant Thomas, former Washington State receiver and defensive back, now coach of Portland State. He recruited me when I was in high school to Washington State. Great man. Glad to see him having success at Portland State.
Yeah, as we get to the game preview brought to you by Dick's, we just flashed Jake Dickert there. What has kept him up at night this week?
What's kept Jake Dickert up at night is the run game of this Portland State offense. Last year, they averaged over 220 yards on the ground, and that's one of the weaknesses of this Cougar defense. So if they can get the run stopped early, it's going to be a great day for the Cougs.
All right, electric atmosphere in Pullman as always. The pomp and circumstances, one of the aspects that makes college football great. A closer look at John Mateer from Pullman coming up next on the CW.
Welcome back to the Pre-Kick Show, brought to you by Dick's. This is the Palouse, southeastern Washington's the agricultural heartland. Harvesting tons of wheat and cookers. And Washington State opens its football season today against Portland State. And that means the traditions of game day Saturday, the walk of the team, the students enjoying their holiday weekend, crimson and gray everywhere. And it's a pleasure to welcome you to Pullman for the start of what is a brand new and very important partnership between the Pac-12, yes, the Pac-12, Washington State, Oregon State, and the CW. And it really is emphatic for both of these schools to show that they always have been and will continue to be power football schools. And nobody understands that better than one of the Cougar greats. You know the challenge ahead here, Ryan Leaf.
I do know the challenge, and I know they're up to it. They're in the fight, both Washington State and Oregon State. It takes somebody very special to be a Cougar. Anybody can be a Duck. Anybody can be a Trojan. But to be a Washington State Cougar, it takes something very special, and we got a pretty good one at the helm.
Exactly. It starts with the head coach. Amidst all the change in college football this past year, the Cougars held on to their head man.
Well, that was a big deal, and he was thrown right into the fight. Became the interim head coach for Nick Rolovich, took over and won on the road at Washington and secured the job, and he's been a special head coach ever since he took over the helm. Another year like that really will leave his legacy intact here at Washington State.
Well, defense has been a signature in Dickert's time. Offense, there is change. A new QB1.
Yeah, seemingly this is very rare to see a quarterback to actually sign out of high school and still be around in year 3. John Mateer, a little Southern swag to him. Reminds me a little bit of Gardner Minshew, a Southern gentleman up here on the Palouse, tossing the rock around. Excited to see him in his first start for the Cougs. But that leads me to the other side of the football, and you have a quarterback that's making his 23rd start. Dante Sasha-Ray. 23 starts. He's got plenty of experience to lead this football team up against the Cougs today.
And that experience highlights he wears the captaincy, and he leads an offense. Bruce Barnum, the longtime head coach of the Vikings, renowned for explosive offense. The Cougars want to recapture that defensive mojo. It is Crimson and Gray Day in Pullman. Thanks for watching the Pre-Kick Show, brought to you by Dick's.
Wazoo, explosive. The air raid offense was firing on all cylinders. And often everything went sideways. But we're not worried because our culture was built, not born. Welcome to the fight.
Welcome to CW Football Saturday. It's presented by State Farm. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. And we are in Gisa Field in Pullman on the Washington State campus, where classes have already been going on for a couple of weeks. So campus is active, it's alive, and guess what? Pullman's living right up to its reputation. It's 86 degrees today.
Could go all the way to 93. It's a hot one. Let's get it started, Ted.
Yep. And here comes Portland State. They played these two teams have played in the recent past, 3 years ago here. Portland State out of the Big Sky Conference. Washington State will receive the ball first. Matthias Reby will be the kicker for Portland State. Leighton Smithson is deep for the Cougars. Portland State will have the option in the second half. Smithson from inside the 5. And a nice crease to run it back out across the 30 for the Cougars. And hey, we're not just 2, we're 3 strong this year. Let's welcome in Nigel Burton. Nigel?